We are good to go.
Okay, all right. Kathy? Oh, wait, give Kathy a second or two.
Yeah, I was looking for a paper, but I don't see it. Okay,
All right, okay. Well, welcome everyone to our regular meeting, Shasta City Council, Tuesday, July 7, 2020. Call to order at 7:02. Call, all council members are present, and Mayor Alvarado will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, and Councilmember Gibbs will lead us in the invocation.
Excuse me, Mayor Alvarado, if you don't mind, we can take it out since our plan was to hold this in-person participation. And since we are all at home without a flag,
Right.
maybe best to take out the pledge.
Got a nice flag up front.
Listen, and do you have a back screen there, Chad?
I could probably pull one up, sir.
We just,
It's up to you guys.
you got one?
You can continue forward, sir.
Continue forward?
Yeah, because I'm not gonna be able to pull it up fast enough.
Okay, all right, we'll go ahead and we'll just pass on those and we'll move on to public comments. So these public comments is open?
Okay. I have two emails I need to read first, and then we can go back to approval of the agenda, or would you like to do that first?
Actually, go ahead, let's do the approval of the,
Okay.
I'm sorry. Can I get a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Lopez and a second by Councilmember Givens.
Councilmember Givens,
Aye.
Lopez,
Yes.
Prout,
yes,
Garcia,
Yes.
and Alvarado.
Yes, all right, moving on to public comments, and public comments is open. And City Clerk, would you please read the public comments?
Sure. I received an email from Kathy Enns, and the subject is Observation of Independence Day. It reads, City Council, as I drove down Central Avenue on July 4th, I was extremely disappointed that our city had no American flags or 4th of July display on the corner of Central Avenue in James. I understand the canceling of the fireworks show, but had the Rotary Club not installed flags around Manor Park, one would not have known it was Independence Day. Come on, city. We expect U.S. flags on patriotic holidays. Sincerely, Kathy Enns.
Okay, is there any other one?
Yes, one more from Robert Meisner with Inland Aviation regarding Electronic Water Purification Company. It reads, I would like to discuss water conservation and filtration systems. I have 30+ years experience in designing and building water treatment systems. We now have a system that is working very well, and we have a patent pending on our system. We would like to invite people that are interested to come and see our system.
Okay, and that's all, just those two?
Yes, that is all I have at this time.
Okay, we'll go ahead and move on to council announcements and reports, and we'll start with Councilmember.
okay. There were several events that happened this last couple, 3 weeks. And I won't take a lot of time, but I wanted to highlight the fact that I did have Zoom. Most of this was all on Zoom. And we started with the Mayors and Council Members Forum in Monterey, which started on the 18th of June. And it ran on 3 different Thursdays. And a couple of the workshops and sessions that I watched and listened to was strategic planning steps, which we have done in the past, but probably need to be involved again. Another one was being a council member and pros and cons, not pros and cons, but do's and things that we should follow. And then on the second time around was elected leadership in emergencies. and the do's and don'ts of what we should do and be prepared for. And then also this last Thursday, I watched and they had a really interesting one on resetting for economic development. And they talked about getting revenue, land use, as well as economic development, and how those things are going to change in the future. Not always because of COVID, but because of a lot of other things that have happened between the past and today and the future. So those are two interesting, very up to date and planning in the future. Then I attended on Zoom KEDC, their quarterly meeting, and they're having issues because of COVID-19 and businesses, public or private, that are not coming up with the finances as well as, and for dues, as well as their fundraisers with their events are not being held. And so they haven't made some extra money. So they're going to have to be really cautious. Then on 6/26, I watched again for the San Joaquin Valley, which includes all the way from San Joaquin, Stanislaus, all the way down to Kern. There are eight counties in that area, and it's on regional policy. So there was discussions there on housing, homelessness, and so forth. Then later that afternoon, we talked about housing for AB 101 and the money that's available that people, meaning cities, can put into planning and production. Kern County has $1 million, just over $1 million that we can apply for, because now we're going to hire a program manager, and that program manager will oversee all those requests that come through. Then we also did, we did the mural committee meeting with Gabriel, Caesar, and myself, with the representatives from the Students and Learning Center, and they're going to funnel their funding, and people can donate, whether you're an organization or individuals, for putting up the mural that's going to be downtown on the wall at La Hacienda. So be aware of that, and if you know of anybody that would like to put funding, any $10,000, and they haven't finalized their mural as such yet, but that's in work progress. So it's going to be a fun project, and it'll tie in by the end of the year, which will also cut the end of our new street on James Street. So that's all I have right now.
Sorry about that. Councilmember Givens.
It's been a busy week, busy 4th of July. Just want to say thank you to Chief and all his staff. I saw a lot of activity moving around through each one of the neighborhoods. I did see the information that came through about the post of how many citations were issued. You know, the goal is not to issue citations, but to really stop all the illegal firework activity that was taking place. And I think they did a good job of that. I don't think I heard any negative out of it, more positive that it was happening and that we were trying to stay on top of it. So good job to Chief, the entire staff down there at the PD office. Just keep up that good work. Nothing else outside of that.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Councilmember Garcia.
I just want to thank all Shafter employees across the board for their hard work, and all the Shafter merchants, all the businesses that have been, doing a good job and hanging in there through these tough times. And thank everyone that's opened, and even thank just the people in the community that are, respecting everybody in regards to wearing masks, and so just thank everybody in general, and just hope that we keep, are being safe.
Okay, thank you very much. Mayor Pro Tem Lopez.
Yeah, this past week, myself and Councilman Prout, we attended that meeting with Ms. Weeby about the Arts Council and that mural they have planned. It's a great idea. These girls are really motivated to making it happen. The presentation was amazing. I'm really hoping the community gets behind these girls and helps them out as well. Any kind of donation. I know it's tough times right now for everybody, but it truly is a great thing they're doing, and it's going to look amazing for many years to come. And it's going to beautify, even though it's a small area, it's going to beautify and exemplify what this community is about. We have a great community. I love how everybody here in Shafter it's a very safe community, and everybody, it still has that small town atmosphere, and that's what I wanted to continue keeping. Our police department did a great job during this past week on that enforcement. Like I reiterate what Given said, which is the goal is not citations, the goal is education, and unfortunately, citations were given out, and but they did a great job. That team he put together did a great job, and thank you, Chief Zimmerman, and all your officers involved. That's all I got.
Thank you very much for that. I just want to share some things here that, first of all, I just want to say thank you to Kathy Enns for bringing that to our attention about the 4th of July, the flags downtown Central. And I also just want to say thank you to the Rotary Club for putting those flags around Manor Park and down, I think it's Lerdo, right, Kathy?
Yeah, we had them around Mantle Park and down the median at Laredo Highway.
Yeah, I saw some on Lerdo. I definitely seen the ones around Manor Park. So I just want to say thank you to Kath for bringing this, again, like I said, to our attention. And I think if the city manager could put something together for us to not allow this to pass again, either 4th of July or Memorial Day or Veterans Day. So if City Manager Gonzalez could make note of this and we'll come back, or we could address this concern. Something that I think benefits the community. I think the community would love to see flags, and just shows our part of we support our veterans as well and our country. And also on the topic of the water conservation, water filtration, I think it's something interesting. I don't know if we could go to the presentation, because I was just thinking maybe I'm not quite sure how big of a filtration they're talking about, or conservation component, but maybe our water fountains or our spray park that we have. I don't know if that could work there, or it could recycling, but I think it's something definitely we should, have somebody from the city go check that out. I had a call from a business owner over the weekend, a restaurant business owner, and being that I guess the new order was to be closed for dining in, and his question was if there was something that the city could do to help businesses that are restaurants type to help them to do more of a dine out. Like say, for example, a restaurant that may have a pretty big size of parking lot. I don't know what the city could do to help them, to make that a successful. I asked just out of curiosity, what was he thinking of? What role would the city play? He was just mentioning maybe some awnings, or just something in that nature, to help out a local business. So, but I just throw that out there to the council and also the city manager. I'm not sure what we could do, but I would definitely like us to look into something for this that are struggling at this time. Also, the firework, 4th of July. Yes, Shafter PD did an awesome job. Thank you again that the Shafter PD was out there and enforcing the law. The illegal fireworks is strictly illegal, and that's what's sad to say that people had to get cited, and pay a hefty fine, but that's what they consider illegal. And when something you do illegal, there's consequences. And I know even for myself, my animals, I have a couple dogs, and they're pretty much already traumatized. They can't even go outside anymore. So I think fireworks were just way too much. So again, I just want to say thank you to Chief Zimmerman and to the Shafter PD for an excellent job. Also, I had the Richmond School District reach out to me over the weekend, and they were just wanting to meet with council because they had some concerns about how the city and the community was moving forward with COVID-19. As a school, I believe the school is still trying to have a plan, a game plan. Things are changing constantly with them. But they're interested in trying to meet with council, with Shafter Recreation. If for some reason the school district goes, for example, two-part school. So what happens to the students when they're home the other half of the day, or they're not in set and they're not in school? So those students are now going to be, at home, or they're going to be at the parks, or, question came up, can a rec come in? I don't know. I mean, again, this is just for discussion, something, food for thought. So, but it was an interesting question. And I like for City Manager Gonzalez to move forward with something, with some kind of game plan to meet with the school district of Richland School District, the Recreation High School, and maybe we could just continue on and see what their plans are and see what our plans are as well. That's pretty much it. That's all I have. So with that, we'll go ahead and move on to consent calendar. To accept the consent calendar.
I move.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Prout, second by Councilmember Givens.
Councilmember Givens,
Aye.
Lopez,
Yes.
Prout,
Yes.
Garcia,
Yes.
and Alvarado.
Yes. Thank you. And we're going on to public hearing. Number one on there is the sewer and solid waste fiscal year 2021 assessment at Gossamer Grove.
Yes, Honorable Mayor, members of the Shafter City Council. At the start of every fiscal year, the city must formally adopt a resolution that authorizes assessments for sewer and solid waste collection charges for current and new Gossamer Grove residents. Once new assessable lots have been assigned by the county, the city can collect rate revenues through assessments rather than direct billing. An engineer's report has been prepared for this annual levying authorization. It includes an updated inventory of serviceable and accessible lots. The rates listed for sewer and solid waste service have already been adopted by the council. They're taken right out of the pre-approved sewer rate plans and franchise hauling agreements. The main point of tonight's action is to authorize updated assessments for the current and new lots. So resolution 2735 for your consideration has been included with the staff report. If adopted, it would authorize the assessments, and this resolution has been prepared by city staff and reviewed by the city attorney. So prior to considering the resolution, the city should conduct a public hearing on this matter. The availability of this hearing was previously published by the city clerk. So at this time, staff requests conducting the hearing, and during the hearing, staff can respond to questions from the public or from the council. With that, we request that you conduct the hearing at this time.
Thank you, Mr. James. Public hearing on item number one, which is the sewer and solid waste charge fiscal year 2021 assessment at Gossamer Grove, is now open.
No request at this time, Mayor, to speak on this item.
Okay, thank you very much for that. So public hearing is now closed. Any questions from council? Seeing
Yasmina,
none.
were there any written comments provided?
No, written comments were not received as well.
I see no questions from council, so can we get a motion, please?
Make a motion to approve as read.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Givens and second by Mayor Pro Tem Lopez.
Councilmember Lopez,
Yes.
Prout,
Yes.
Givens,
Yes.
Garcia,
Yes.
and Alvarado.
Yes, and thank you. Moving on to management reports, city managers' comments and reports.
So the Mayor and Council just provide some additional information to the public comment regarding the flags downtown. I'm told by our public works director that we did install flags between the hours of 7 a.m. and 3:30 downtown. However, 2 were stolen. And so, that would have made it appear as though we hadn't put flags, but I'm told that we did put flags up and display. So I just want to provide some additional information on that. And then as a follow-up, just to get clarification with regards to the matter for restaurants dining out service, yes, that we checked with public health that is allowable. And so restaurants can provide service outdoors. In fact, as I was leaving the city this evening, I forget the name of the restaurant there downtown, the Mexican restaurant, they had service outside with people enjoying their dinner. So that is a possibility. In terms of awnings or any kind of equipment, I'll work with the city attorney and inquire if there's anything we might be able to do where it's not considered a gift of public funds. And then in terms of awnings and the cost, we'll put some together and put a report back to council on that. We might check too to see if that's an eligible expenditure under the county CARES grant, that it's directly for businesses. So that might be an option available for us, but we'll do some research on that and bring it back to council. Also too, Chief Zimmerman's on vacation, and although he was willing to participate in tonight's meeting, I gave him the night off and told him to enjoy his vacation. But he did provide some additional information. Yesterday, he sent me a summary of the activities over the weekend of 21 citations. He's since then had staff provide additional breakdown of those 21 citations. And if you recall, when you adopted the urgency ordinance along with the resolution setting the $1,000 citation fine amount, we mentioned then that this was just another tool in the tool bag. So the breakdown of the 21 citations, 3 are administrative citations under the new provisions of the ordinance. So only 3 are under the new $1,000 fine, but nevertheless, that's a good start. 7 citations were for possessing illegal fireworks under the Health and Safety Code, and that was under situation in which our officers actually saw the fireworks before they were used. So they basically were confiscated. 7 citations for unsafe use of illegal fireworks under the Health and Safety Code, meaning that in this instance, they actually saw the individual setting off the fireworks. And then 4 criminal citations using the existing city ordinance for use of illegal fireworks. So all in all, a productive evening for our officers to respond to the illegal fireworks usage in the community. So hopefully next year it's not as prevalent, and we plan to put an outreach education campaign well in advance of the 4th of July to really push it out to the community. Another matter I'd like to report with regards to the community drive-in movie. We have reached out to the local civic clubs, Kiwanis, Rotary, Lions, as well as the Chamber. And the only one that both the Rotary and Kiwanis Club respectfully declined to participate. The Lions Club decided they would wait until there was more details to the event, but they did not say yes or no, simply requesting more information. And then the Chamber of Commerce felt it wasn't fit for them to help after they canceled their own 3rd of July firework due to the similar guidelines that we would have to comply with. And so they just felt that, firsthand, they knew and were aware of how stringent the guidelines were and how difficult it might be to get compliance. So they too respectively declined. So the only ones that showed any interest in moving forward was the Lions Club, but pending more information. So if you like, council, I can agendize an item for the next meeting so that you can formally decide what you want to do being that this is not an agenda item, and therefore, can't take action as to whether to proceed or not. Another item I just like to report to you on is we sent you what's an agenda matrix, a planning tool that I've used in the past to plan our policy matters that will be coming to you. They include routine annual matters as well as new policy matters that will be brought before you. We sent you a sample earlier today, and this is just like a planning tool that, like I said, it's been a practice of mine for ourselves at the staff level, as well as a tool for you to have an idea of what policy work we're working on that'll be forthcoming to you in the near future. It's not set in stone because any circumstances can change as to when we schedule a particular item, so it's tentative just for your information. Another item of interest that came to a surprise, I know some of you that have been on council longer may be aware of County Fire in the past talking about changing their methodology and how they charge cities for service. Well, last week, the Board of Supervisors were presented with a report commissioned by the CAO's office to implement a new methodology, which would change what we currently pay now to the county. Fortunately for us, because of our significant amount of revenue that's generated from the fire fund, we won't see an initial impact in the first 3 or 4 years, I believe. But by the 7th year, which is the term the county's proposing to implement this new cost recovery, we are estimated to pay about approximately $350,000 annually, which right now we're not paying any because our fire fund is so healthy that we actually have a surplus, and we do so for the first 3 or 4 years of this new implementation of cost recovery. What the county has mentioned to us is that the fire department has been operating at a deficit, and this new cost recovery will help them get to 100% of that cost recovery for fire services in the county with the 9 cities that contract with them. And so we, the city managers group, organized and petitioned the Board of Supervisors, the chair, if they would respectfully request postpone them voting on it so that we can meet with the CAO's office and have further discussion on what's going to be a significant impact, not so much for Shafter, but definitely for the other cities throughout the county. So there'll be more information coming to you in the next week or two as we have this meeting with the county and the city managers, and just want to make you aware that that's happening at the county level. Another item, and see, this is just to gauge your interest, council. I'm not proposing, but I'd like to see if there's any interest on your part. One is the concept of changing the meeting time of the city council's meetings from 7 to maybe an hour earlier at 6 p.m. start time. I know it's 7 o'clock, it's late in the evening. I'm thinking about my staff and those involved. And I think like a 6 o'clock start time, in my opinion, it would be reasonable, allows members of the public, once we eventually resume to in-person meetings. When that is, I don't know. But a 6 p.m. start time would still allow residents, members of the public, to get home, maybe grab a quick bite to eat and be able to participate in meetings in person if they chose to. So I don't, if that's something that council might be interested. I'm just kind of putting it out there, Mayor, if it's something that you and the council would be interested, I can bring back and agendize the item.
I would say yes, bring it back as an agenda item.
What's that, Marco? Was that you? Okay, there. Is the rest of the council okay with that?
I'm okay with it.
Some for discussion?
Yes, I'm okay.
Others? Okay. Another item is some cities typically do this during the summer months. We might be too late this summer. Cities sometimes will take either a meeting off either in July or August, meaning they go dark. Typically, it allows just some downtime. You can plan some vacation time around it. I have the staff that usually takes summer vacations with family and whatnot. You as well. So seeing that other cities go dark, either one or usually sometime in July or August, I wanted to see if there was any interest in council's part. Maybe going dark the second meeting of August. We looked at our agenda calendar in terms of items to be bringing to council. There's nothing that we see planned for that second meeting of August. That would be of urgency. So again, if this is something that council is willing to entertain, I would agendize it for the next meeting this month, the 21st, for further discussion.
I'm okay with that.
So on post. Okay.
And I'm okay too with that.
I'm okay with it as well.
Others?
The only thing that I see, it's difficult with the finance department, but we'll work with it.
Okay. All right. And council, that's with nothing further, that concludes my report.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Gilbert, I have a question. It's Manuel.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
I was just gonna see is with any money we're receiving from the state, would it be possible, I don't know, maybe this Gabriel or Marco can answer this about helping the restaurants, with any of that kind of, helping them out financially, if we can, if that's something that's possible, because, when you sit, you look, it's easy for the governor or the county to tell our restaurants here not to open, inside, but yet I don't understand. Some can open outside, but I don't understand what's the difference between inside and outside dining.
Okay, I'll try to answer some information. So the county health department is the one who sets guidelines, and I think the reason for being outdoors is that they're able to provide a greater distance between customers in terms of the seating arrangement from one table to another. And based on the guidelines I've read, that's more or less the main reason why they allow for outdoor dining versus indoor dining.
No, back to
the first.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just going to add real quick to the first part of your question. The state, as part of their budget, they recently adopted. We received information from the League of Cities that in their budget adoption, there are funds available for cities on a pro rata share of population, and that Friday is the deadline for us to submit our eligibility form. They have not yet released the guidelines of what eligible expenses would be reimbursed or be eligible for that money. But hopefully the usage of those monies would be applicable to some form of a forgivable loan or grant for small businesses. But we're waiting to get more information from the League of Cities as the state puts out guidelines related to that information.
Didn't they qualify already in the small business loans that came out?
Yeah, this is the monies that were part of the CARES money that went to SBA.
Yes.
And then to the local bank, like Mission Bank was one of the banks that was able to administer the program. So yeah, there are some programs already that have been made available to small businesses. Some of them, I think, are just looking for some assistance, like with utility bills, during the time they were closed. So something that small of a dollar amount may not necessarily be worth to the business owner to go through the process of all the submittal of the paperwork required to qualify for the loan or the grant. And so I think some of these businesses are not necessarily asking for large dollar assistance versus just some sort of forgiveness on even utility bills at the local level.
I see. Thank you.
So Gabriel, so basically, do we have, the city of Shafter has to listen to the county orders? Is it by law? Or, we can take it in consideration, or do we have to?
Yeah, so I sent earlier this afternoon a letter to council that was from the governor's office, basically from the governor, addressed to all local governments, county and cities, municipalities, re-emphasizing the local jurisdiction's obligation to adhere to a public health order and the expectation from the state that we would enforce that order in order to comply with the public health issues with basically the pandemic. So he further goes on in the letter to say that there's consequences. Failure to enforce compliance is a misdemeanor by law, and there's also been talks from the governor that he would withhold funds from the city if the city failed to adhere to the state's directive for compliance with some of these health and safety measures.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Marco, anything you want to add on that from the legal?
No, only that those orders are enforceable. Now, to the extent that anybody wants to enforce them, that's debatable across cities across the state. But there has been recent cases upholding the authority of the governor to make such orders, so they are enforceable.
Okay, thank you.
Now, is there, City Manager Gonzalez, is there any department comments and reports or reports?
No, being that, Mayor, thank you. Being that we had a light agenda, I gave them that night off from tonight's meeting.
Okay.
So no.
All right. Moving on to our last item is going into recess, closed session, public employee discipline, dismissal, release.
I move we go into closed session.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Prout, second by Councilmember Garcia. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Yes, Yasmina?
Yes, if you will bear with me, I will put you in your breakout room. Just one moment. Okay, so you should be receiving an invitation to join the breakout room.
Hello?
Hello. Looks like we're just waiting on Marco.
These I almost left my background up.
Okay, is that everybody?
Yes, I believe you're all back.
Gabriel, city manager?
Gabriel,
Mayor,
are you
can
there?
you hear me?
Yes. Okay,
Okay.
all right, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go ahead and recess back into our meeting. And the item that was in closed session was public employee discipline, dismissal, relief. And at this time, there is nothing to report out. Is that correct?
That's
City
right, Mayor.
Attorney?
Thank you.
Okay. So can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Givens and second by Councilmember Garcia. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, we're now adjourned. Everybody take care and be safe.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Later,
you.
my brother.
All right. Thank you.